interacting with professionals in the anime industry. Now you're probably looking at me and going, who is this crazy lady and why is she going to lecture me about professionalism while cosplaying as an Integra Health student? Doesn't make much sense. But I have a reason for cosplaying today, and I'll get to it in a little bit. And let me tell you first a little bit about myself and about what we're going to be talking about today. My name is Courtney Kraft. I'm an associate producer at G4 Television. I'm a professional video game journalist. I review manga professionally, and I'm also an internet personality. I do a couple web shows, so I do a lot of work both behind and in front of the camera. And not just being a professional, but I'm also a huge anime fan. I'm a gamer, and what I hope to bring to you guys today is the perspective of someone who's both a professional and a total fan. And I'm going to teach you guys how to talk with professionals in the media industry, focusing specifically on the anime industry. So what are the topics we're going to talk about today? I'm going to cover 5 main topics. The first one is going to be meeting people in person. We're at an anime convention. How do you introduce yourself to someone who's in the industry? How do you go up to them and say hi? What are some of the things you need to prepare and things you need to know? The second topic, we're going to talk about the internet. It's not just for porn anymore. You can use it now to build your personal brand, get your thoughts out there, and sometimes even, make industry contacts. And that leads me to the third topic, how to reach out to a company. Where do you start? Where do you find a person to ask for a job? Where do you find that contact who's going to help you get review copies or get that interview that you want to get? Then we're going to talk about celebrities, my favorite topic. I've gotten to interview several celebrities. Mostly lately, I've interviewed Judah Friedlander from 30 Rock, Seth Green. I know a whole bunch of voice actors in the anime industry, including Talisa Jaffe, Yuri Lowenthal, Christine Friedman. So I've talked to a lot of celebrities, and I'm going to give you guys some tips on how to talk to them too. And then finally, I'm going to wrap up this lecture by telling you the top 4 things to never, ever, ever do if you want to be taken seriously. These are the 4 cardinal sins. And then if we have time at the end of the whole thing, I will be more than happy to take questions or comments or kicks in the ass if that's what I really need. Let's get started. Okay, let's start talking about meeting people in person. Because we're at an anime convention right now. There's people from the anime industry right here. Okay, so what are you going to do? You got to be prepared. How do you know what you need to bring with you to meet someone? First thing we're definitely going to need, it's one of these. It's a business card. Now, what should be on your business card? Even if you're unemployed, even if you're nobody important, create your own business card. Now, it should include your name and any contact information that you want to have. This could be your phone number, your email. I do a lot of my personal branding through Twitter, so I have a Twitter name on here. And the whole point of having a business card is that if someone's really busy and they don't have time to sit down with you and get to know you, you can just say, here's my information, call me later. Really handy thing, plus it looks really professional. So what about them? What if they don't have a business card? Because they're not necessarily expecting to meet you at AnimeCon, but you're expecting to meet them. So what you need to do to be prepared for them is to bring a pad and a paper. Now don't do what I did at Anime Expo a couple years ago and just have like a little scrap of paper and a pen. It didn't look too good when I was asking like, hi, can I have your email, contact, digital manga, whatever. Prepare to write names down because you cannot expect other people to have business cards for you. Okay? Just be ready. And then you need to be concerned about your personal appearance. You need to prepare how you look to them. Did you know that in the first 30 seconds of meeting someone, they make an impression on you? They form an opinion about you. So stop and think for a moment. Let's assume that you are a professional in the anime industry. And I walk up to you, and I'm wearing this. I'm wearing cosplay. So feel free to shout this out. What are some of the things that you can assume about me because I'm wearing a costume? What do you think?
Nerd.
Nerd. Okay, what else?
Awesome.
Awesome.
You know what you're talking. Probably know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm a fan. You know that I'm an anime fan, and if you really know what's going on, you know that I'm a Hellsing fan. Big Hellsing fan. But here's the hard truth about the industry. We don't want to work with fans. We want to work with professionals. And if there's anything that you take from this lecture today, be it this moral. Be a professional first and a fan second. If you are a professional who's also a fan, that means you're passionate about what you do. That That means you're going to love what you do. It means you're going to work hard. But when you're a fan first, that means you might be a little too obsessive. Maybe you can't put your fandom aside to get the job done. So here I am, I'm in this costume, and the first impression I gave on someone was that I'm a nerdy fangirl. Great, I don't think that's someone who they want to work with. But now, I'm going to have a Sailor Moon moment, and I'm going to transform for you before your very eyes, okay? Check this out. I brought music this time, I forgot this last time. Fangirl. I've transformed. I don't look like a fangirl anymore. Now what you're seeing is a business suit. Oh, my hair's getting over. Let's take care of that. So now I'm in a business suit. Now when you're seeing someone in a business suit, what are some of the impressions that you get when you see a person in a business suit? What can you assume about them? Anyone?
They mean business.
They mean business. What else?
Cocky.
Sorry?
They're cocky.
They're cocky. That's a thought. What else?
Just came from a funeral.
Well, I should hope not. But you know that they're serious. Whether they're going to a funeral, whether they're doing business. If someone's approaching you in a business suit, they mean business. And it means that what they have to say to you is serious. And it means that what you have to say to them, they're going to take seriously. And that's important. And sometimes you need to be that professional first and put the cosplay aside and get business done first. So whenever I'm at a convention like this, I always have one day where I cosplay. Because I love cosplay. I love dressing up. I feel out of place if I'm not dressing up. But then if I have a date where I'm going to make business contacts, I'm going to be introducing myself to people, I'll always grab a blazer. I might just wear jeans and a sneaker, but I'll always put a blazer over it. Blazer can do amazing, amazing things for you. Okay, so now you have your business cards, you have your pen and paper, and you look nice. I shouldn't have to tell you to, shower and groom yourself. I mean, that's pretty obvious. So now what do? Okay, you're gonna have to actually talk to someone now. This is the scary part, I know. I hate doing it myself. So, where do you start? Who do you ask for? Well, it kind of depends on what you want to get done. But if you don't know what's going on, if you don't know who's who, the best person to ask for is someone in public relations, PR. That's their job, is to relate to the public. Their job is to be the face of their company and talk to you. So the PR person is always a good person to ask for if you don't know specifically who to ask for. Maybe you're looking to get a job or an internship. At that point, what you can do is say, excuse me, who can I speak to about X, Y, or Z, whatever the topic is. Always be polite and be humble, because patience is key. Just because you guys are here at a convention to have fun, doesn't mean they are. They're here to do business. And a lot of these people, they're standing in the same place on their feet for 8 hours a day, they aren't having fun, and just showing a little bit of patience and kindness can go a really long way. Because if you're rude, and if you think that you're way up here, you're not going to get anything done. Because to them, you're priority like number 9 or 10. You're not priority number 1. So be humble, and be polite, and be patient. So right now I'm going to tell you guys a really embarrassing story to illustrate why all these elements are so important when you meet someone in person. When I first moved to Los Angeles in 2002, I didn't have a job in the TV industry yet. I was still looking. And I was working in the stockroom at Victoria's Secret. And one day, after work, I go on down to the Anime store across the street. My buddy Brandon's working at the counter. And he says, oh, hey Courtney, I want to introduce you to someone. This is Jonathan Klein. I'm like, Jonathan Klein? The executive producer of New Generation Pictures, like the best freaking dubbing company in America that I really, really want to work for. Oh my god! But I was not prepared. I did not have a business card. he had one. Luckily, I managed to weasel one out of him. But I wasn't exactly dressed professionally. No, I was dressed for working in stockroom. I had sneakers and riding cut-off sweatpants and like a co-ed naked cheerleading shirt. Do you guys remember those? My hair was a mess. I had no makeup. I looked like a bum. There was no way this guy was going to hire me. But nonetheless, I emailed him anyway. I said, please, 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 can I have a job? I really want to get my career started. I would love to work for you. And he never got back to me. Didn't even acknowledge my existence after that. But you know what the other thing I did? I told him who I was on this Helsinger fan forum that I knew he was on. Big mistake. Don't tell them that. Professional first, fan second. You're going to hear this a lot throughout the lecture. Okay, but let's shift gears a little bit. Now you know how to meet someone in person. Let's talk about the internet. Oh, I love the internet. Blogs, forums, and social media, and how you can use these things to get your voice heard. So let's start with blogs. Does anyone here blog about things that's like not your personal life? Does anyone blog about like anime and manga, video games? Yeah, okay, awesome. So when you blog, you're giving a demonstration of how you write and how you think. And this can be really useful, especially if you want to become a professional. Because if you're a writer and you want to get into writing, people will want writing samples. They'll say, okay, show us a sample of your work. Say, here you go, here's a blog entry of something I wrote. So not only does your writing in your blogs demonstrate, can you put together a complete sentence, but can you put together complete thoughts? Can you write a thesis? And then can you write maybe like 3 supporting paragraphs with evidence that support your thesis, and then maybe do another paragraph about a conclusion, and oh my god, you just wrote the 5-paragraph essay on learn how to do engineer high. Second trigonometry is all about the 5-paragraph essay. Who knew that you'd actually learn something useful in English class? Yeah, it is useful. It shows how you think. It's brilliant. Blogs are also a good way to build a fan base and get people to know who you are. So let's shift from blogs to social media, because they kind of link together. Social media is huge right now. We have things like Twitter, and MySpace, and Facebook. And you can use these things to chat with your friends, sure, and tell people stuff. But you can also use them to build your personal brand. What is a brand? A brand is the face that you put out there to the public. You know, my personal brand is I'm an intelligent, sexy female who loves anime and manga and video games, and I know what I'm talking about. That's my brand. And what I did is I formed a Twitter brand. I did it all through Twitter. My Twitter is the anime goddess. Even my name is my brand. I'm the goddess of anime. And what I do with that is I use it to reach out to fans, and I share ideas. The most important thing to do, if you're going to use the social media to develop your brand and get your name out there and let people know who you are, you have to say things that people will repeat. And hopefully include your name when you repeat them. I always get more Twitter followers whenever a celebrity tweets my name. I've had Isaiah Mustafa tweet my name, Kevin Herrera, Chris Freeman, Seth Green. And anytime that they tweeted my name, I got like a whole bunch more followers. So you need to say things that people will want to repeat. That will make people say, hey, you know what? You're pretty interesting. I want to hear what you have to say about anime, or what you have to say about manga or video games, or whatever it is that you're tweeting about. Now, some people use Facebook. You can use that too to build a brand. I recommend having a fan page for your Facebook as opposed to just having it be your personal life. And I highly recommend keep your personal life and your personal brand separate. My fans don't know about my personal life. They don't need to know about how I went to Victoria's Secret yesterday and I bought a bunch of pajamas and I left all security tags on. Nobody cares about that. Maybe my Facebook friends do, my personal friends, but my brand, my audience, they don't care about it. You need to really focus on what is your brand. Who are you presenting to the public? All right, and then there's the dregs of the internet. The ninth circle of hell itself, forums. Okay. I read forums every day. I deal with a lot of fanboys every day, and my God, you all drive me nuts. But how can you make yourself useful on a forum? We go to a forum on the internet in order to get our voices heard, because we want to give feedback to the company, because we want Bandai or Viz or Funimation to know what we think about their products. Maybe even help improve them. So where do you start? How can you not make a total jerk of yourself on the forum? Okay, well, first things first, your name and your avatar, okay? My name on a forum is always the same wherever I go, because sometimes you develop but your name can say a lot about you. So if your screen name on a forum is asshat69, people are going to think you're an asshat, because that's what you're putting out there. If your avatar is some chick's boobs, no one's going to take you seriously. So think for a moment about what your screen name is and what your avatar is, because we're watching you. Just because professionals don't necessarily write on these forums, we're watching you. We are listening to what you say. And if you say something intelligent, interesting, and constructive, we might actually hear you out. We might. But if all you're doing is writing, I hate this, I hate that, this sucks, no one's going to care about that. So you also need to take into consideration how do you write on a forum. Surprisingly enough, you ever notice in a positive, happy forum, people tend to have really good spelling and grammar? It's true. And then when you go someplace where it's really negative, it's like people can't form a full sentence, or they're run-ons, or they don't know the definition of the subject or the predicate, and they drive me nuts, and they never have anything constructive to say. This is crap. And so sometimes just putting your thoughts out there in a very clear, concise manner can make all the difference in the world, and if someone's going to listen to you, if someone's going to hear you